Before we get started, though, like always, we want to send all praises, honor, and glory out to Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Ba'ashem,
Ba'ashem,
Yahweh
Yahweh
Shai,
Shai,
Ba'ashem,
Ba'ashem,
Rekah
Rekakwadash.
Kodash, to the apostles and elders of GMS out of New York. We want to send double honors and the elder bishops out of Connecticut. We want to send double honors because they do real well. For the brethren around the world, pushing this truth uncut, unfiltered, giving you the good, the bad, and the ugly of the scriptures, correctly breaking down prophecies and interaction with people and planet. We send salutations because basically, part of the hope we out here declaring war on the planet. Hope that is edifying. So basically, me and brother was sitting here kicking a little bit, and I was telling him, before I came up to kick it with him a little bit about wisdom and the things that we can and can't do with it, the things that we can take that we can't take for granted, first of all, and two, that even though he's young in the truth, he's old in spirit, in the fact that he's got a lot of life experience being in his 50s, that now his his scriptural knowledge is going to have the things that he knew actually make sense, and not just from what I've been through, so this is kind of how it works, but this is actually how it works because this is the way it's supposed to work based off the fact that the scripture says that it works this way.
Right.
Okay, so with that, go ahead and start off with whatever scripture you want to jump it off with.
So I'm gonna go to scriptures you call for Ecclesiastes 1:1.
1:1.
Yep.
Okay.
So it's Ecclesiasticus, better known as Sirach. All wisdom coming from the Yahweh, and is with him forever.
So see, all wisdom, all real wisdom, all wisdom that's going to last forever, actually does come from Yahweh. Okay, and because it comes from Yahweh, in this world it can be perverted and all these other kinds of things as far as the wisdom of this world being perverted, and the world will think that that's wisdom as well because of the fact of who's saying it and how it's being said and what's going on in the process. But actually, all true wisdom that's going to abound and last forever comes from Yahweh, and the scriptures bears that out. Okay.
Yeah, this is going into what the elder was saying. It's First Corinthians. He was talking about the wisdom of this world. It's First Corinthians 3:19. For the wisdom of this world is foolish with power. For it's written, He taketh the wise in their own craftiness. So as the elder was just expounded upon, their wisdom is just foolishness. You know what I mean? And abominable because they want to try to be like the Most High. That's why their wisdom is foolish. They're trying to search the heavens and stars and try to exalt themselves above His throne, and it's foolish. You know what I mean? Because they can't comprehend or calculate or measure the depths of the heavens or the earth to even try to expound, to even try to contend with what the Most High has created. You know what I mean? So that's why it's foolish to him. He's laughing at him. You know what I mean? It's like a giant looking at an ant. You know?
It's funny that you say that because I was literally at work and was going through, some different videos and whatnot, and a thumbnail. You know how you get one of them little thumbnails of a commercial, right?
Right.
So the commercial is only about 35 seconds long, but in the first, I say 5 to maybe 8 seconds of it, he was trying to, this Edomite was trying to explain something to this female, and it went totally against what Yahweh was saying on so many levels.
Right.
It was a Christian breakdown that he was trying to give about immortality and how heaven on earth and all these other kinds of things. And you know what the Edomite said? He said that after a while you'll get bored. I was like, that's why you can't be in rulership. How the hell you think? He said, he said, if I was to go and have eternity, my first hole in one will be okay. He said, but then after X amount of time, I shoot 18 rounds of golf, all 18 rounds of holes in one, and I get bored. So the guy said that you would actually go back and ask for things to be the way it was before. I was like, this is why you got to be destroyed. This is why you can't afford to be in rulership. I said, the elect, we're looking forward to the download. We're going to have all them life experiences of being so fucked up and so jacked up and so twisted up in our memory banks right there on the surface that we ain't gonna never want to be outside of the rule of Yahweh Bashim Shai. We ain't gonna never want to be on the left hand side of that, having to go through this.
Right.
But his wisdom was like, no, he'll be bored with it. And y'all want to go hand in, and I was like, and I did the sit down and said, you motherfuckers, you 2/3 want to go hand in hand with this guy. He'll never be happy. That's why he's built for 1,000 years of hardcore slavery and then being destroyed.
Right.
Because his wisdom is fucked up and faulty.
Yeah.
Okay, and y'all prove it every day. Go ahead, go with the scriptures, man. We let the scriptures come out.
Right. All right. It's 1 Corinthians 1. You said 1:24. So let me get that.
Actually, let's get that that one where what was the one that I said about his wealth and his riches and everything, gain his godliness and all that. Yeah. Let's deal with those. Because see, y'all don't understand that this man's. Y'all want to go along with this man because this man is in position of authority and power, but his wisdom is not wisdom that is built for the eons. Okay, it's not built to be a forever thing. Okay, as a matter of fact, his wisdom couldn't get him through 500 years of rulership.
Not at all.
Look at the world now. Virgin Babylon, everybody looking at the wisdom that he had, and they pissed off like, you snake motherfucker.
Yeah, your wisdom gonna have y'all pairing off together with like people and be extinct. Who's gonna be here to produce the earth? That's what your wisdom is going towards.
That's it.
You know what I mean? If you have two guys and two
y'all
girls, y'all go to the island and see how y'all populate just two guys. Done. Two women, y'all go to the island and populate. Can't be done. That's the wisdom of y'all. Earth will be extinct in 2 weeks.
That's right.
It's 1 Timothy 6:5. Perverse disputing of men of corrupt minds and destitute of the truth, supposing that gain is godliness, from such withdraw thyself.
See, we withdrawing ourselves from the thinking of this man, from the wisdom that he professes, from the Alex Crowley, do as thy will, the Nike, just do it, the YOLO, you only live once. We've divested ourselves in these thought processes. Why? Because these thought processes are built for destruction.
Right.
Okay, there's no consequence. You only live once, so there's no consequences in your immoral acts and your inaptness at being able to fathom the fact that you have lifetime after lifetime, and that you're gonna have to come back in a lifetime and pay the price for the sins of your prior lifetime. That's why this Edomite don't want to face it now. That's why, as Elder Malcolm got critical race theory, they don't want to face their history. Because it's a history. This is what the fuck you done.
Right, this is what you done. It's all laid out there right in front of everybody. You can't hide from who you are.
That's it. What was that? That was a Teddy Pendergrass song. You can't run from yourself. Everywhere you go, there you are.
Y'all don't know about that young whippersnappers.
You can't run from yourself. Everywhere you go, there you are.
Right.
Okay? And now you don't want to look in the mirror. Your kids don't want to look in the mirror. Your kids not understanding. They was those people back then that was talking about lynch them up and do this and do that. And they were talking about picnics or pick a nigga and all this other kind of stuff. Y'all, all that. And this is all the wisdom that you all have. But none of that wisdom is going to stand up. That's why we said the scriptures tell us that under heaven and earth is the place of judgment. Okay? And see, we done had to deal with that on and off now all this time. But see, we coming into that place where we don't have to deal with it no more, because once we get that download that you Edomites are adverse to,
right,
okay, and don't want, we won't go off anymore. So since the wages of sin is death, we don't have to have death because we don't have to sin. And this is a perfect place where we'll want to be.
Exactly.
But y'all don't want that. Go ahead.
That's this 1 Corinthians 24. But unto them which are called both Jews and Greeks, Yahweh Mashiach, the power of God and the wisdom of God, because the foolishness of God is wiser than men, and the weakness of God is stronger than men.
That's right.
For ye see your calling, brethren, how that not many wise men after the flesh, not many mighty, not many noble are called.
So
But
these wise men of this world are
right,
not here. Okay, and this is not just for the Edomite, because like I said, one of the closest friends I had in the world, which is not a friend now, he's an associate. You know, as they say, be users but not abusers.
right.
Okay, and these types of things. But the real deal is just this. You know, the real knowledge was given, and he couldn't accept it, and he literally said, I guess I'm the rich man who couldn't make it." He said that out of his mouth,
Yeah,
out of his own mouth.
yeah,
6-figure nigga, that's the smartest dumb motherfucker I know.
yeah.
Okay,
I want to stay in this world. So
one of
love not the world, nor the
the things
things
that
in
are
it.
in it.
What profit a man to gain this world, lose his soul? These foolish men, you know what I mean? That's what they do.
Hey,
They getting their reward on this side, which is death and destruction
that's right.
and everlasting shame.
And you see, here's what's funny about that. There are certain scriptures that, like I said, we knew that even when we wasn't in this truth, we
Right.
understood certain scriptures.
Absolutely.
And my dad even used to quote this scripture all the time. What did it profit a man to gain the whole world and to lose his soul?
What?
So this is what I'm saying. But this is the wisdom that you all have. This is the wisdom that you follow behind for you 2/3 and you 17 other nations. You done chase this man. Now everybody want to kind of step back, except for the Israelite woman.
Right.
That's a whole different
That's
story.
another
Hey,
conversation.
she's still running out there, swinging her white flag, talking about, "Come on, I'm with you. I'm still with you." She's throwing up the white flag to her enemy. "I'm with you." You know what I'm saying? But this wisdom that you all are chasing in behind and trying to be connected to is built for destruction. What else you got?
Yeah, this is Wisdom of Solomon 8:5. If riches be a possession to be desired in this life, what is richer than wisdom that worketh all things? And the wisdom we talking about and the riches we talking about is the knowledge of Yahweh Bashem Shah.
Okay.
You know what I mean? That's where we headed. You know where y'all headed is the foolish vanity stuff that's corruptible and is going to be cankered and then rust away. There's no life in it.
Hey, Solomon said, "All is vanity."
Right.
Okay, all is vanity. All is vanity. All is built upon something that is unsustainable. It won't sustain itself. Like the brother said, you couldn't put two women out there on the island. You couldn't put two men out there on the island and whatnot on separate islands. Because if you put them together, eventually, sooner or later, they
This ain't working.
hey, real wisdom will win out in the end. When they start seeing themselves getting ready to start dying out, and ain't no kids around, and this, that, and other, and ain't no population growing to make this thing happen anymore. They eventually say, "Well, we got to break down. I don't like him, and I don't like him." But out of that, which one of them would you actually do?
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because this is the foolishness of this world is so in your face,
Oh my
but
goodness.
it's so in your face, but the world doesn't want to face it. That is unbelievable. But that's why I said when we out there in the streets preaching and teaching, you know, look, if you want to come up and you want to actually learn, come up and learn. If you got a question, this is a legitimate question, you thought about it, and it's a scriptural question, come up. But at this point in time, like I said, like the motherfucker last week that came up to our camp with his Ephraimite. So you already know where his head was at.
Right.
He was so far up his woman's ass that it was it was pathetic. It was pathetic on so many levels and whatnot. Cause he professing himself to be wise, showed himself to be as foolish as a box of rocks.
Let me get it for you. This is Ecclesiastes 10:12. The words of a wise man's mouth are gracious, but the lips of a fool will swallow up himself. It's just what you write.
literally, because he's so busy wanting to appease his woman, he doesn't realize that in that day when everything hits the fan. Everything hits the fan. That woman's gonna want to know what we're gonna do.
Right.
And you can't turn around, I don't know, what should we do?
Right.
She ain't gonna want no parts of you on that day.
Right.
Okay? She ain't gonna want no parts of you. That same thing that makes her want to be taken care of and protected is gonna be at the forefront of what's going to be going on at that time. And the last thing that she's going to need is a guy that's in her corner, scary and trembling the way she is. That she wasn't built to be masculine, and as a man, you're not built to be feminine. You got to understand and let them lines be drawn, as they say. And I say it all the time, especially with different females that I've had relationships with.
Right.
That monthly come around, I said, "Viva la difference." I'm glad I'm a man.
Right. Right.
Because this wisdom is so perverted right now that it makes no sense. Go ahead, whatever you got, man.
All right. Get to this other. My big black dictionary. Book of knowledge. All right. Let's see. I read that one already.
We went through all those over
Yeah,
there.
no, I went through Slack, Ecclesiasticus 13. You call for that one.
Right.
Ecclesiastes 13:21. Is you sure that was the right one? Okay. A rich man beginning to fall is held up of his friends, but a poor man being down is thrust away by his friends.
So a rich man is held up by his friends. Why? Because a rich man must be wise in this world.
Right.
That's the game being godliness.
Right.
Okay. They think that the Lord must be with him because he was so prosperous that what he's saying is legit.
Right.
No, the wicked had a chance to be on top, and they had their chance. Look at Esau. Look at Esau. Come on. Me and this brother talk about this from time to time, and it's like, man, I done been in jobs and whatnot where I was thinking circles around motherfuckers.
Right.
But how am I not getting these promotions? How are you asking me to train a motherfucker to be an engineer and still want me to be a quality inspector?
Right, and I'm training this guy.
I'm training him. He don't know the first thing about a floor plan. He has no thing about a CPK or how to run trends and whatnot on the computer. He has no way to be able to gauge how to even set up tool adjustments or tool change outs so that the machinery can run smoothly the entire time. You never have to have a tool break and then bad parts, and then try to figure it out, and then clean it all back up. We can run this up to a certain point, and we know that this metal is only built for this amount of fatigue, and before we hit that, we gonna shut everything down, right? And change everything out, and keep running, baby.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. How? Now we know why. Because we was put under them curses. We was put under them curses, and that's what make all these things now make sense. That's what make our life make sense.
It makes sense now. Now we understand why we've been through all the turmoil and trouble. It all lines up perfectly now. You know what I mean?
You know, and that's the beauty of this. That's the beauty of this truth. Once you've been in it for a minute, or even if you're really into it and you're paying real close attention, you'll see that your life turns into a movie. This thing you call life, that's another song. This thing called life, it turns into a movie for us. Now we just looking at who playing what roles and what parts. Okay? Who's in what role? Who's the real villain that we didn't know?
Who's the man behind the mask?
That's it. Exactly. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is Psalm 73, you know what I mean, and 5. You know, just expounding what the elder saying. They are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. And he was talking about them being set up over us because of our iniquity and because we came in wax cold, and the hands was given to the world was given to the hands of the wicked, and they have no clue and no understanding because wisdom wasn't given to them.
Right.
Now we got all the breakdown. We see why they on top. We see why they shining, because it's only for a moment. In the end, they gonna perish and be destroyed. So, and wisdom is far from them, and it's beautiful. Now we know.
Now we know. Now we understand it.
Now we understand the
this that
setup, the
that's
chess moves that was played.
look. When I was a much younger man and a big black buck
Right.
that could fulfill the role of Mandingo, bench and fold, doing this, that, and the other,
Right.
and a ish put a chain around my neck, say, "Come on," and played the thing, and I'm like. I didn't think about it then you know what, not this, that, and the other, blah, 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 blah. Was DMX, I think, no, DMX wasn't around, but somebody was, one of the rappers was wearing them big old dog collar chains and whatnot. So
Probably was DMX.
right,
Right.
so I wasn't thinking much about it because this was the mid '80s. So this is, rappers was doing that dookie gold anyway. So I
Right.
wasn't really thinking much about it.
Right.
But now, oh, call Menachie. You got his number?
Yeah.
Because he called now. Maybe you're trying to tell us something.
Time. All right.
So anyway, what I'm saying with all these things having been said is that this wisdom that we have and the things that we can't take this for granted. That the Lord has given us this wisdom and this understanding. And there's a lot of wisdom that as brothers you're going to have that how do I want to say this? Cherish it. There's plenty of things that you know and you understand that the world has no clue to it. None whatsoever. So,
Yeah, we ended on that. That we figured out what happened.
okay. So, you know what? Like I said, we don't have to go much further than that. Just want to get you to understand that this wisdom thing is a very, very precious commodity
Right.
that the world doesn't have. Only the elect is going to be blessed to be able to have men above them and teachers and all these other kinds of things that can teach that. And our mind is actually open to be able to receive it and understand it
Right.
in its truest and cleanest form. Okay? So never take it for granted. Because like I said, as this ramps up, that wisdom and knowledge is going to be your stability of the time.
Time.
Okay? So with that, we're saying all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem, Rekakwadash. And to the apostles and elders again, we want to send double honors because they do rule well.
Rule well.
So with that, hearty shalom,
Shalom.
and a barber ball.
And a barber ball.
Okay.
What's going on, Out? No, you good, Shalom. You call Pops Wizard.